I'm so glad you could make it. Sit down, sit down. Oh, yeah. Oh, the band is gonna be awesome tonight. I dig it.
Hey, welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and I interview regular people telling real stories about their beauty industry journey. I know that what we do is fun and perceived as glamorous, so it's through sheer audacity that professional stylists and barbers are creating industry disruption in their own unique ways. I've spoken with business owners, industry influencers, educators, innovators, and so much more. We share beauty industry tips, tricks, pitfalls, cheat codes, and everything in between just to remind you that you're not alone. With therapy sessions, it is my sincerest intention that by sharing our unique journeys with the world, beauty professionals will be empowered to discover your own uniqueness, which is where your true superpowers lie. So relax, get vulnerable, get inspired, hit that follow button, and be empowered to discover and share your own unique power to contribute to this amazing beauty industry that continues to challenge us all to keep learning, keep growing, and keep reaching for the highest version of ourselves. I'm Auntie Hair Coach, and this is Season 3 of Therapy Sessions.
I'm so glad you could make it.
Welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and I interview regular people telling real stories about their beauty industry journey. Today's guest is one of the most sought after international educators and editorial stylists in the industry. She's sculpted hair all over the globe, led teams for Fashion Week. She's a beauty underground artist and member of the Texture versus Race Collaborative. Kia Sterling has entered the chat. Welcome to Therapy Sessions, Kia.
Thank you so much, Auntie Coach. Tasha, I love
Yes,
that. That is
thank
so
you.
cute.
Thank you. I'm so
And I
excited to
love what
talk.
you're doing. I love
Thank
what you're
you.
doing with this platform. It's
Thank
much
you.
needed. Your voice
Thank
needs to
you.
be heard. You're creating a platform for us creatives to be heard. So we are very grateful. I'm very thankful for you.
I appreciate that. This is season 3. You're actually the closer for season 3. And this is so outside of the box for me. I'm actually very naturally introverted. And so when I got the inkling to do this, I'm just like, that this doesn't even make any sense. But
Mhm.
my gut said I'm supposed to be doing it. And so here we are now finishing up season 3, and I'm learning and growing and having a good time. So thank
That's
you.
awesome. That's awesome. Look at you.
So I'm so excited to talk to you. I met you a couple of months ago when I saw you working on stage with the Texture versus Race Collaborative. And I came home and I was telling my husband about you, that I was gonna reach out to you. And he's like, "Well, who is she?" And I'm like, "So I'm telling him who you are, but I remember describing you as Shaka Khan meets Erica Badu. That's what vibes were to me."
That sounds like a good description.
Yeah. So anyhow, for people who have never met you before, I always like to go into your origin stories. So just tell us a bit about Kia. Who are you? Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? How did you become who you are today?
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Kia Sterling. I'm Philadelphia based. I grew up in Philly. I grew up in the 70s. Grew up with both parents. My dad was super creative. He was an actor, he was an artist. So I feel like I got my creative side from my dad. And my mom was like my cheerleader. So I would say I got interested in hair probably around 8 or 9 years old. My neighbor, she was a braider, but she was 11, but she braided all the kids on the block. And I just was fascinated with watching her. Like, this is amazing. Like, how cool is this? And I asked her to braid my hair, and she braided my hair. And then I asked her, "Can you show me how to do it? Because I need to understand this here." So she showed me how to braid. I started practicing on my doll babies. I feel like all hairstylists have a very similar story. We practiced on our doll babies. I fell in love with it. I wasn't real good at it at first, but of course, practice. I got better and better. And now, flash forward to around sixth grade. I just knew I was a hairstylist. Like you could not tell me. My mom bought me some curling irons to curl my hair. You couldn't tell me I wasn't a hairstylist. So now I'm trying to like do my own hair, curl my friends. Tell my friends, well, come on over. I'll curl your hair before you go to church. Stuff
Mhm.
like that. So it was very interesting. I grew up around a lot of glamorous women. My mom was very glamorous. My aunties, grandmom. So I was very attracted to beauty and glamour at a very young age. And I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to do with it. I just knew that was what I liked. And I started talking to my parents about I was a dancer as well. So my goal was to become a dancer. That
Okay.
was my goal because I went to dance. I went to Philadelphia here in Philadelphia, which is one of the famous Black founds. I think the school was founded in like 1968 or something. It's been around forever. And I studied there, but I loved it. I knew that's what I wanted to do. But then when I started playing in hair, that kind of took over. I knew I said, you know what? I think I want to be a hairstylist. However, I came from a long line of people with degrees. Everybody in my family had a degree in something. My cousins were going to college to study law, become doctors and engineers and dentists and that was just never appealing to me. I was like, you want to do what? Why would you want to do that?
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I'm over in the corner doing my makeup,
Mhm.
fixing my hair. And so my cousins, everybody was applying to school. And I just was like, okay, I guess I need to do what everybody else is doing. All my friends are going to college. It was kind of like, all right, I feel forced. But I hadn't opened my mouth yet to say I want to go to hair school. Like it was confirmed because I just didn't think it was a thing my parents would even support. And so I did go to college for 2 years. And of course, what did I do in college? Did hair. I set up shop in my dorm doing hair. Because, in college, everybody's broke. So, like, you don't really
Yes.
have money to really go get your hair done. So I'm like, I'll do your hair, girl. You don't have to go home. I'll do your hair. So I had a salon set up in my dorm. It was fun. And I partied. I had a ball. But I was not doing well as far as my grades. They were awful because I was too busy doing hair and partying. So I went home after my second semester and I told my parents, I said, okay, can we have a sit down meeting? Because I really need to talk to you because I was so miserable. I was like, I can't even imagine. I don't think, what was I studying in school? I don't even remember. But I couldn't imagine doing that. Like, this was like, I was 18. I'm like, this is the rest of my life,
Yeah.
whatever this is.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I sat my parents down. I was so nervous, sweating bullets. Oh my God, what are they going to say? So I said, I want to go to cosmetology school. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. No problem. Why did you say that before? My dad was like, oh, yeah, like, cool. Sounds like a plan. And then my mom was like, yeah, I kind of see that for you because you've always been in beauty, hair, makeup, fashion. Go find a school. We'll pay for it. I was like, what? That's all I had to do? You mean I've been suffering for the last 2 years in school
Yes.
when I could have been doing what I wanted to do? But I was so scared because, degrees were the
Yeah.
thing. And, we're talking about the late 80s. I think now is a lot different. Of course, I'm not a teenager now, but I just think now is different. I think you can communicate better. I think back then it was really important for Black people to have a degree. So I found a cosmetology school and went in. And when I tell you, I felt like I was home. I said, this is the language I need to be speaking. My teacher is speaking my language. I was excited. I got excellent grades. All I wanted to do was study and do hair, and you know when you fit, like you know this is where you should be. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so thank God for opening my mouth. Because can you imagine if I had never said anything? You know, it's
Right.
funny. I talk to people like clients of mine. I talk to clients of mine, and let's say they're like 35 years old, and they'll tell me, I've always wanted to open a restaurant, or I've always wanted to do XYZ, but my parents, told me, oh, you need to go to college for this, and you need to, and they're like been in this industry that they're in for like 20 years now and miserable.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
just funny how, like, if you don't say anything,
Mhm.
because my parents thought I was fine in college, they were like, oh, she's happy. I
Yeah.
was miserable.
Yeah. And you said you don't remember what you studied when you were in college?
Yeah, I think I studied, like, I remember psychology.
Okay.
Well, that was like my major,
Right.
but I was studying hair, to be honest,
I know that's right.
between
And
us.
psychology is necessary in this industry, so you're still
Absolutely.
using what you learned, whatever, So,
Absolutely.
yes.
It really is. We are therapists.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
this after all these years in the industry, because you've been in a little longer than me, how long have you been a stylist?
I've been licensed
Like, right.
31 years.
Okay. So you got a doctorate, baby.
Yeah, I got my license in 91.
Yeah, because you only have to
Yeah.
study for 8 years to be a doctor, right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
doctorate degree, multiple
Amen.
times over. Yes.
That's too funny.
Um, okay. So you go to cosmetology school, you graduate. Now what? Where do you go to work? Do you
Okay,
remember
so
your first job?
while I was in school, we had a job fair, and basically all the salons in Philadelphia came to our job fair to recruit talent, and a lot of them were, of course, looking for assistants. So I met a young lady who became my mentor, and we hit it off. She hired me to become her assistant. So I would say I was 6 months into school, maybe halfway through school. So I became an assistant. So I worked, I went to school full time. So that was like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. On Saturdays, I assisted in a salon. And then once I graduated, I assisted full time. The salon was being an assistant, for one, I need to say this
Mhm.
because so many stylists that are coming up today, they like to skip that part. And it's vital. It's vital. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for that experience. There's no way you come out of school. You just know, basically, school is preparing you for state board. They are not preparing you for behind the chair at all. You think you're getting prepared for that while you're
Mhm.
there because you have clinic day where you
Mhm.
take clients. But that's like, it's
Yeah.
not really giving you what you really need. So working in the salon as an assistant, and I'm gonna be honest, I think you need to assist for at least 2 years.
Okay.
To some people, they may sound like forever, but I've worked with assistants for 2 years and was like, oh, she's ready. Oh, he's
Hmm.
ready. You
Hmm.
are not ready in 6 months. It's so much to learn.
Yes. I went
It-
directly behind the chair and I was so bad. I was
yeah,
so bad. And you're right, it
yeah.
probably took me about 2 years to feel comfortable.
To feel comfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you assist for 2 years, you're not just learning the hair part of it, or proper shampooing services. You're also learning consultations, how to interact with clients, how to problem solve. You're watching us do that.
Hmm.
And you can ask a million questions because you were right here. You
Hmm.
see how the outcome was. You see the bad side of it. You see the great side of it. It's so many things you need to see before you take on that responsibility of holding a chair and being responsible for making a certain amount of money a week, a day, all that pressure that comes with that. Be an assistant. for at least 2 years. So I
Absolutely.
was an assistant, and I was very lucky because I didn't have my license yet. I was studying to take my license because I think I took my license in April. And I was full time from like December to April. So now I'm hands on, I'm in it. I'm excited. I was lucky because I worked in a really busy salon, multicultural salon. It was about 8 stylists, some white, some Spanish, some black. So mixed up, great team. Most of them were educators, teachers' licenses. So I was really lucky. They really helped me a lot. They really helped me a lot. I've heard horror stories about people working in salons where they don't get support, they don't get the help. But that first salon for me was the best salon because I was so supported by the stylists that worked there.
Yeah. And my
Yeah, so I
mind
was
is
grateful.
blown because this is a multicultural salon and we're talking what, late 80s, early 90s?
This was in 91, 91, 92.
And this is an actual multicultural salon because sometimes it says multicultural and that just means there's a Black stylist who works there. But this
Yeah,
isn't.
it was a Spanish guy, a Spanish girl. It was 2 white girls, and the rest were black.
Okay.
Yeah, I was lucky. And
Yeah.
this was a relatively new salon, and the girl who was my mentor, she was the manager, and
Okay.
her dream was to manage a salon like that. So she handpicked, and this was I think that salon opened in 90.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're right, they're usually not. The multicultural is the one token black
Mm-hmm.
stylist. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I've worked.
Hmm.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes. No, I think we might as well. Let's jump there because I don't want to spend too much time on things that you've already discussed in interviews. I want to give you space to talk about other things, right?
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
so people can go and find your interviews where you talk in depth about your editorial work, which is brilliant. Your work is brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you,
Um,
Tasha.
no, I think let's go there. What are your what are your thoughts on
Well, now that you ask,
it?
now that you ask,
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. I've worked in salons where I was the only black stylist,
me
and
too.
I'm a people person. I'm all about positive energy, good vibes. Everybody that knows me knows I'm like that. So you could put me anywhere. I could work with anybody. We're gonna work it out.
Mm,
But I've been in situations where I was the only black stylist, and 95% of my client base is black. I have a few white styles, few Hispanic, but the bulk of my client base is black. I have males and females. Textured hair is my specialty. I've been doing it my entire career. But it's been situations where I have been like, you have got to be kidding me, where I have a client that walks in with an afro, her natural afro, and she's coming in to get a silk press. And all the white stylists and clients are looking like, what is wrong? Why does her hair look like this? Now, this isn't in present day. I'm going to say it's recent as 7 years ago. No, actually, where I work now is a black owned salon. I've been here 4 years. So before that, so recent, but not present day.
not yesterday.
Where my client now is like, she's walking in with her natural hair. People are making her feel very uncomfortable because her hair is not sleek and straight and shiny. Um, I'm working on her hair, and it's like been comments from clients of the white stylist, like, "Oh my God, that must be hard to comb." They may see me detangling it, like, "Oh my God, that must be really hard to comb. Oh my God, how do you deal with that? Oh my God, how do you sleep?" And I'm like, listen, like one of the salons I worked at, I had to talk to the owner about it. Like, I just need everybody not to say anything to my client.
Yeah,
Hello, how are you? And that's it.
yeah,
Because you're now making it's a very weird situation, a very weird experience. This is our hair.
yeah.
It's I don't I mean, I'm not a hairstylist, so, but I don't think any of my black clients walk up to white people and say, "Oh my God, how do you sleep?
Yeah.
Oh my God, your hair is so blonde. Oh my God, your
Yeah.
hair is so straight.
Like it just
Do you
hangs
wrap it at
there.
night?"
Yeah.
Like I don't know anybody, black hairstylist or not, that walks around asking those questions. And I understand the curiosity, I guess.
Hmm.
But I get if people do it to me.
Hmm.
But I know working in a salon, it became a big thing. And then they watch me do this service. They watch me take it from an afro, a beautiful afro, into a sleek, shiny silhouette. And they're like, "Oh my God, how did you do that? Well, what did you have to do? Is that a perm? Is that a chemical?" And I'm like, "No, it's a silk press."
Yeah.
And it's funny. One of the salons I worked at, one of the stylists, it was a girl who she was either a walk-in or she called to make an appointment, and she was black. She had Afro texture hair, and she wanted a silk press. And one of the white stylists took her, and for whatever reason, I didn't have an opening. Whatever, I don't know how she got to her chair, but this particular stylist was not skilled in textured hair. And the woman wanted a silk press. And you know how black girls like their silk press. They're very specific on how they want their silk press.
Hmm.
Every piece of hair needs to be silked out,
Hmm.
including the
Shiny,
edges.
blowing in the
Shiny,
breeze.
bouncy. It needs to look like it had a relaxer sitting next to it, but it's natural. And I want my hair to spring back.
Hmm.
So it's a skill set, product knowledge, all these things go into play. And I remember watching her do her hair, and I was thinking, should I say something? Like, I didn't know what to do. And then finally I saw her alone, like walking through, and I walked over to her and I was like offering her some products and explaining, like, approach it like this, detangle it like this. When you shampoo it, do it like this. And she really like was offended. But she watches me do that service all day.
Yeah, yeah.
But she was offended, like, "Why are you telling me how to do my job?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me go mind my business and go back to my go back to my pixie cut I was doing." Yeah, she was offended, and I was like, and then later she admitted that she should have listened and took, yeah, because the girl's hair was a mess,
Yeah.
and it reverted the next day. The girl called. She had an afro,
Yeah.
but her hair was not pressed out properly. She didn't use the right tools. She didn't blow it out properly. Her sectioning was too big. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And I could, like, literally, I remember I had a client in my chair watching her. And my client said to me, "Her hair's not going to last." She could even, and she's not even in a business. Like, she doesn't know, but she gets silked out enough to know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to, it's the same with me. If I'm doing something and I may be going about it a difficult way, not the right way, I have no problem with another stylist coming over to me and saying, "Girl, let me share this tip with you." I've had it
Absolutely.
done to me where I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. That really
Mhm.
helped." So I was just trying to help. But some people are like, "I don't need your help."
Yeah, sometimes the ego in the industry is just too much.
Yeah.
Like
And
we
things
don't
like
know
that have
everything and
happened.
that's okay.
I say
Yeah.
that all the time.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I say it. And that's part of the reason why I like working in salons versus suites.
Mm,
Because when you work in a suite, you work by yourself. To each his own. But I'm a people person and I vibe off of other creative artists.
mm.
So working in a salon and being able to look over to my coworker and be like, "Oh, what's that? Oh my God. Oh, you're gonna love that product. I
Mm.
tried it. It's amazing. Oh, you learned a new technique. Oh my God, this is great. I love this. Oh, how'd you get our hair to do, And they say the
Absolutely.
same to me, like, "Oh my God, what did you do to do XYZ? Her hair came out really nice." This is what it's about.
Mm,
Sharing. And I'm all about sharing. So that is why I love working in salon environments as opposed to suites, which is more popular these days. Everybody wants to be a salon owner, a suite owner.
mhm,
Nobody wants to work with anybody.
mhm.
And it's okay, but nobody wants to work with anybody. Everybody I
Yeah.
know has a suite.
Yeah.
Like when I tell people I work in a salon, they're like, a real salon? I'm like, yeah, like with people that work there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
Yeah, I was talking with someone recently because I've done both. I was in a suite when I was in Indiana, but I live in Atlanta now and I'm back in a salon environment. I didn't realize how much I missed being in a salon and being
yeah.
around other people. Um, and so I was talking with someone recently about whether we think because of the rise of suites, and it's like you said, everybody wants to be a solopreneur and be in the suites. And do you ever think that beauty salons will go away?
It's funny. When you think about today, 2023, and everything that has transpired over the last, say, 30 years, um, somebody asked me this one day a long time ago. What do I think is different today versus 30 years ago? Everything is different except the water we use to shampoo hair.
Mm,
Like to
mhm,
me, everything. I've watched the industry evolve and everything's so different. So 20 years from now, I could see it no longer being salons. Like
interesting.
I don't see it as being. Now, if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I'd have been like, absolutely not. Salons will always be here. But the way the industry is going, I really could see everybody being so separated because it seems more relevant now than it was even 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So the trend looks like it's going that way. There may be still a few in 20 years, but unless somebody really starts to educate the young stylists on the importance of team.
Mhm,
I am a team girl.
mhm,
I'm a team. You can't do everything alone. It's a struggle. Just being a stylist in the industry without being a salon owner is a struggle. So being a salon owner and a stylist is a double struggle. And
mhm.
I think it's just easier to get through when you have a team. But
Yeah,
what do I know?
yeah. Have you
Everything's
ever
easy.
desired to own a salon?
I haven't. I
Okay.
have never.
Yeah,
I have never. Not even when I was in school. I love the creative.
yeah.
The thing that gets me jumping out the bed in the morning is creating art.
Mhm,
And salon owners have to be creative as well,
mhm.
outside of behind a chair or if they're working on set. But that part of it just never appealed to me.
Yeah.
But I'm always like super supportive of the salon owner where I work.
Mhm,
Because I'm not a salon owner, but I understand business
mhm,
and I've studied it.
mhm.
So I understand their struggle.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, what do you need help with?
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and say, listen, I really need you.
Yeah,
Because sometimes I think they think they're alone.
yeah.
And, I'm that employee that's like, oh no, I got you. What you need. I'm here to
Mhm.
support. Because I want to see everybody win. But I'm also big on team and big on support. And like, being as though I'm a lead stylist, I understand the aspect of team and how that works. And it works in any environment. It
Yes.
works in a classroom with kindergartners. It works in a teacher setting in an
Yeah,
elementary school. It works in a corporate Apple. All these big companies, team is where it's going to happen.
yeah,
It's not going to happen by itself.
yeah.
Steve Jobs was not able to create Apple alone.
Period. Yeah, absolutely.
What's his name? Amazon. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
I just watched that documentary. It's really good too. He was not able to create this $1 trillion company alone.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think sometimes we forget that,
yeah, absolutely.
so yeah.
Okay, so I want to go backwards a little bit and go back to where we were talking about multicultural hair, because you are a member of the Texture versus Race Collaborative. And I don't know
Yes.
how long that's existed, and maybe you can clear some of that up, but I became aware of it in 2020 when the world was shut down and everybody's sitting at home. That's when I became aware of texture versus race.
Yeah.
Share with us, when did you come involved? When did you become involved? Why do you think it's necessary? Share with us about texture versus race and the texture versus race collaborative, and why that's
Mhm.
important to the industry.
Yeah. Oh, it's vital. It's funny. I became aware of texture versus race during 2020 when we were on lockdown.
Mhm.
I met Kia virtually through the live she did with Mary from behind the chair. That's how she got on my radar. People were sending it to me. And I said, Kia Neal, who is the founder and creator of Texture versus Race, also one of my mentors. She's amazing. But I
Mhm.
saw her on this live and I'm like, who is this woman? I need to get to know her. She blew me away. And that was in 2020. And then she created, well, Texture versus Race was created before. Now, I don't know the exact year,
Okay.
but it got on my radar around 2020. And then she started looking for educators for her Texture versus Race team. And she reached out to me in 21, maybe 21, 2021.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, absolutely. I need to be a part of this. I need to be a part of this movement
Mhm.
because, especially being as though I work in fashion and editorial work, I do a lot of things that where I'm only the only black artist. I work behind the scenes at Fashion Week where it's a little better right now, but I've been doing it since 2011, where it was literally I am the only black stylist, and a black model walks in, and the white stylist attack the black model's hair, and the black model's like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" it, I have seen that. I could write a book just on that. Like, I have been, I have literally been like blown away by the things I've seen backstage at Fashion Week. And this is like New York Fashion Week, high end shows. And we still don't have a team of black artists that can take care of the makeup and the hair for the black models. So because I've been experienced all of these things over the years, I really wanted to be a part of Texture versus Race because it's like, okay, now we get to broaden this scope and really zone in and educate non-black stylists on textured hair. Because, we're like, oh my God, what is that? And then I would rather you just say, you know what, that's not my strength. Can you teach me?
Mhm.
I would rather you say that. Because if I don't know how to do something, I'm like, and everybody thinks, oh, you know how to do everything. There are things I don't know how to do. And I will say, oh, that's not my strength. But I know somebody who's great at it.
Mhm.
I'm not about to do something I don't know how to do and make someone unhappy or waste someone's time. So that is when I knew that I need to be a part of Texture versus Race. And it has been nothing but uh, just like sunshine and rainbows. I love it. I love
Good.
it. Like, I love it. We met at the Texture Hair Elevated,
Yes.
and Texture versus Race was there. We did our segment on stage. It was so amazing. I had
So good.
every time we as a team, Texture versus Race goes to a city, it's like a high for me.
It's so
It
good.
is. I love that. I
So
love that. And
good.
the feedback alone, like I'm always like, DM me. I'll teach a technique. And I can't believe how many, stylists always say, oh, I'm gonna go home and practice it. And they literally tag me in it. And I'm always like, you really were paying attention. That is so cool to me. So
Yeah.
that changes, like, it's like we're changing lives where people are actually learning and not afraid to practice and show and tag. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. But we really are changing little by little. It's going to take a while, but we're changing people's perception of textured hair, and
Yes.
people understanding that it's not a race, that it's a fabric.
Yes. I love when Kia
Yeah.
says that the texture is a race, not a fabric.
And you
Um,
you know what's funny, when I not to
no,
just to
you're
go
okay.
back real quick, when I was an assistant, that salon I worked at was a multicultural salon. I was 19 years old. That was the first time I had seen white women whose hair that looked like this. And I was like, I'm fresh in the industry. And I'm like, wait, she gets a relaxer? Because my stylist would tell me, oh, set her up for a relaxer. And I'm like, white people get relaxers? I'm like, oh, wow. And, that's when I learned a lot of Jewish people had really tightly coiled hair. So I'm like, oh my God, this is exciting. So that's
Mhm.
why when we say black, white, or products for black and white, products shouldn't be for black and white. Products should be based on the texture of the hair, not the color of the skin. So I just wanted to jump in there and say that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Have you ever, we understand that hair is fabric. And like you said, there's products we're concerned about what does this product do, right? And then match the product with the fabric. And so I love that you guys are spreading that message. Do
Yeah.
you guys have any conversation? Is it strictly about hair, or is there any intention in the future to deal with racism in the beauty industry? And
Oh
have
my
you
God.
have you experienced racism in the beauty industry?
Yes. um, well, we actually, the Texture versus Race, we had a summit back in May of
Mhm,
this year, and we
mhm,
touched on that. So
mhm,
I'm sure we're going to have another Texture versus Race summit, but that summit was based on where everybody can come in and just talk about whatever is on your mind.
mhm,
And it was some tears. It's very emotional. It's because people are really telling their stories. And it's not always connected to hair, but people are able to share their stories. Yes, I've experienced racism many times in the industry because I don't know. I think sometimes jobs once they're set to be white, and they don't always want to let black stylists in for whatever reason. Their reasoning is my thing is, but I can do what she does, and she's white. My skill set, my resume might even be stronger than this person, but because I'm black, they may choose the other artist that's white. I remember when I first got on social media a really long time ago, I would never post I would never post pictures of myself, and I would my profile page, the profile picture was always picture of my work. Now, Kia, it's not many white girls named Kia. But I figured maybe they won't think I'm black if I post a picture of my work, and it was always a white girl. So I was getting hired regularly back then because I really do think, I don't know if they were focused on my name so much, but because I had no pictures of myself anywhere, they didn't know. And I've walked on set where people were looking like, hi, how you doing? Like, okay. You can read people body language.
mhm,
And I'm like, yeah, they probably thought I was white
mhm.
because I've never shown myself. And
Yeah.
then I got super comfortable once I got signed to my first agent. I just started getting comfortable with posting myself and saying, you know what, y'all gonna have to take me for who I am. I'm black. I'm gonna bring my black self and be my black self on the set. But at one time, my entire portfolio was all white because we've been trained to think we need to be part of this white thing in order to get accepted. And if I have too many black models in my portfolio, they won't accept me, or they won't think that I can do all textures. You put any texture in front of me, I can work with it.
Mhm,
To me, that's a big plus when you're looking for an artist on any set, whether it be a movie
mhm,
set, commercial, photography, whatever it is. I would think the fact that this stylist, no matter what color she is, she
mhm,
can pretty much deal with any texture of hair.
mhm.
What's wrong with that?
Yes.
But racism is insanely still very relevant in the industry. Even as far, but I'm starting to see, like I said, I am starting to see a shift because I'm starting to see more leads that are black.
Okay.
Whereas when I started out 10 years ago, 12 years ago, wait, what? 2011. What's that? 12 years ago. None of the leads were. Well, I'm not gonna say none, but not many leads were
It
black.
was rare. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very rare. Yeah, now I'm starting to see more, but it needs to be even more
Mm-hmm.
because we are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
We are equally as phenomenal. So
Mm-hmm.
hire us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Hire
Yes.
us.
Yes.
But I still work on teams that are not predominantly white.
Yes.
It's like a sprinkle of black stylists.
Yes.
It'll be 30 stylists and 4 black stylists.
Yes. It's like they still
That
are
that
working with
needs to
some sort of
change.
quota. Yeah.
That exactly. It needs to change.
Yeah.
And then the black models walk in and it's like, we need you to do her.
Yeah. Of course. Yes.
I know you need me to do her because you can't do it.
I know. Yes. Which is why that's what texture versus race is hopefully fixing in the industry.
Yeah.
But
Little
yeah.
by little,
Yeah.
it's a struggle, but little by little, we are getting more people that are interested in what we're doing. We had I said the summit. It wasn't the summit. What is it? It was the oh, I can't remember. It was it back in May. The summit is coming up this March. I
So
think it's March 12th. I don't know the dates.
it was the Texture Hair Elevated Summit where we met this summer.
It
But I
was
know what
it's the texture versus race town hall.
yes.
That was back in May. And that's the one where everybody came together and spoke, told their stories. It was
Okay.
insane. It was needed. I can't wait till we do another one. The
Yeah.
texture versus race summit is education.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's coming in March. I don't
Yeah.
know the dates off the top of my head, but I will post it. I think it's
Okay.
around the 12th. It's either the 12th or the 17th, but it's coming this March. So
Yes.
make sure you grab your tickets because
Yes.
our summit last November was mind blowing.
Yes. I saw
Yeah.
the video. I wanted to go so bad. And we were in the process of saving to buy a house and I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the footage, I was so sad that I wasn't there because it looked
Yeah.
like you could literally see people's lives being changed.
Yeah. Amazing. Again, more tears.
Yes.
Um, it is a 3-day educational experience
Yes.
from
I'll make sure to
styling,
put it.
cutting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, styling, color, consultation, everything that has to do with hair that is textured, we cover it. Even the emotional side of it, all of it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And
Yeah,
I'm
so I
gonna make
think
sure.
everybody should experience it at least once.
Amazing.
Hmm.
I'm gonna make sure to leave put a link because I know I looked a few days ago and there's still early bird specials happening. So I'm gonna make sure to put a
Yeah.
link in the show notes so that people can go and look for that.
Yeah, it's in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes, I love Be
Yeah.
More too.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize like we're just cruising along. I'm really enjoying your stories, but I didn't realize we're kind of getting close to the end. So I think we should move over to what I call story time with Auntie Hair Coach. So I give you prompts and you just give us quick little short story.
Okay.
So the first prompt is share your craziest backstage at Fashion Week story.
Oh my God, let me see. It's a lot. Let me see if I can think of one that's most recent. Well, one crazy story is no, I'm not gonna tell that one because that's I'm gonna just tell this one. This one is funny. We had a model come in from it's always pressure at Fashion Week, and we had a model come in from another show, and she had a hairstyle that had like some extensions in it. It was like styled with product, and we literally had maybe 12 minutes for hair and makeup to get her out of this hairstyle and get her back to her natural texture and style. So we had, it must have been 5 hairstylists and 5 makeup artists, everybody. And she's like sitting like this, and everybody is all over her. Everybody's like this. We're trying to take her hair out. And then like we're like trying to wet it down, take it out. And we're like, what time is it? How much time do we have? And they're
Mhm.
screaming, you have 8 minutes. And we're like, okay, okay. And then when she comes out of this huddle of people 8 minutes later, she looks phenomenal. That's
Wow.
crazy to me to see that when how they
Wow.
walk in, they had to take off the previous makeup, because she didn't have time, because sometimes you don't have time in between shows.
Yeah.
And some of the shows, the hair is really elaborate, the makeup is elaborate. She has to take all of that off and then get into a new look. Because this show, it may have been understated.
Yes.
Her hair may have been like very natural. Sometimes the makeup is super clean, super natural. So now it's like we have 12 minutes to do this crazy change.
Yes.
And being a model to me, I just was like, poor girl. She's like, but she's sitting there, she's on her phone, and she's like, and everybody's pulling. And then when we kind of back away, she gets up and she's like, thanks. And she looks
Wow.
amazing. It was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exciting.
Yes.
I live for that.
Yes.
I live for that. Those quick changes.
Yes. What is the most Virgo thing you've ever done?
I'm always Virgoing. So
Uh-huh.
I think, well, I'm gonna speak for now, like present day. The big thing with me, and you're a Virgo, so I hope you
Mhm.
know. But I'm
Mhm.
such a stickler of like people wasting people's time. It's like I have this thing, like, okay, we're on a clock. Time is money. And I think the older we get, the more of a stickler I am with time. It's like, if it's supposed to start at 5 o'clock, why are we not starting at 5 o'clock? Why are we starting at 5:30? Like, so
Mhm.
you just think nobody has anything to do. I
Mhm.
value my own time. That's a Virgo thing. I'm big with my time. Like, this
Absolutely.
is,
Oh my
I
God.
need my
That,
time. And I value people's time so much.
mhm.
Like even when I work on with my clients, my amazing clients, I'm so anal about the schedule. I'm like, I don't want to waste her time. I
They
don't
do.
want her to come and have to sit and wait for me for 40 minutes because
Mhm.
I know how busy my life is.
Mhm.
And I know I am a note writer.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do these 8 things today. Whatever
Mhm.
doesn't get done today, I'll shift it to the next day. But I'm like on this, you know how it is. We're on
Mhm.
this constant schedule.
Yeah.
So when somebody wastes, I remember I went to the doctor's one day. My doctor, she's gotten better, but she's horrible as far as managing time.
Mhm.
I sat in her office for like 6 hours one day.
Mm-mm.
I thought I
Hell
was going to
no.
have, I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown.
I'm going home, first of
And
all.
she's a family friend. It's a long story. She's a
Yeah.
family friend. She's one of my mom's friends. And I just was like, why can't you manage your time better?
Yeah.
Like for somebody to sit 15 minutes is one thing,
Yeah.
but to sit for hours and hours, and I was like, this is insane. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
gotta figure it. And I mean, it was a double appointment because it was me and my mom, and she
Okay.
had two of us. But it still was like we have appointment at 1. You have 18 people in front of us. We didn't get seen until 3. It's like, so yeah, I have really big issues. That's a Virgo. I
Yes.
don't know if it's a Virgo thing, but
Yes. I
I'm
definitely
always
also have that thing.
yeah, I'm always Virgoing. I'm like, girl,
Yes.
no. Is this meeting gonna start on time? Because
Yes.
I got 19. I always got 19 things planned after.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I value people's time. It's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Please share with us the perfect ponytail trick.
Oh, the perfect ponytail trick. All right. Uh, I think this one is good for everybody. Especially when you're working with dense hair. Create a double ponytail. So instead of smoothing all the hair up, create a ponytail in the top. So take a section out, smooth that into a ponytail, and then pull the rest of the hair over and smooth that into a ponytail. Can you envision that?
Yes.
Okay. So you're
Yes.
gonna
And
take the top out,
it'll be
smooth.
super sleek. That is the
Yeah,
most matched ponytail I just envisioned. Man,
yeah,
that's so
yeah.
simple. Why did I
It's
not think
so
of that?
simple. I
Yeah.
learned that at Fashion Week when I first became a Fashion Week stylist in New York 11 years ago, 12 years ago. And I was struggling with a ponytail. She had a lot of hair. And one of my teammates was like, oh, let me show you. That's what I mean by let me show you. And 12 years later, I still do that and I still teach it. That is
Yes.
that's one of them. It's many ponytail tricks.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of them to get the sleekest ponytail in the least amount of time, especially if the client or model has like thick, dense hair.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, building on that, I feel like you have this really kind of open spirited and community based approach to your career, meaning you don't approach it like you're concerned that someone is going to steal your shine. You're so open to sharing when people ask you a question. So, where does that confidence come from? And then, why do you feel so comfortable giving so freely to this industry?
Um, I think the confidence was developed because I wasn't always like most confident. I was like a shy, young child. I think my mom was a big support in pushing me and uplifting me and my entire family, like they're awesome. Um and educating, I think the more you know, the more confident you are. So the
Yes.
more I've learned, the more confident I've become. And I know how I was when there were things maybe I didn't know how to do. And I felt like nobody's helping me. I don't know how to do this. Can somebody share? And once I started meeting people that were willing to share, it made me say, oh, well, we should be all sharing. So
Mm-hmm.
I am quick to share. Come here, girl. Let me show you.
Yes.
Come here. Come
Yes.
here. Let me just show you. Text
Yes.
me tonight. I'll tell you. Call me
Yes.
tomorrow. Like I'm big
Yes.
on that. I don't, because that is the only way we grow. And we
Yes.
need to clap for all of us. We got to understand that when you take 8 steps, that doesn't mean I took 8 steps back.
Right.
Just because the light is on you right now doesn't mean the light will never be on me. It's not the time for this is your time. My time might be next summer. We just got to share and be willing to clap. I clap for everybody because when I see you winning, that means I can win. Or if I see you achieve something, I'm like, wow, I didn't even think that was even possible. That's telling me it's possible for me. And then also another thing is we need to stay. I don't like the word stay in your lane because I don't like if you want to be a doctor, a hairdresser, and a plumber, you should be able to be all three. If that's what you want to be, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But
But
sometimes
mind the
I think
business that pays you.
right, like mind a business that pays you and know your thing. This
Mm-hmm.
is my thing. That's not my thing, but she's so good at that thing. I'm clapping for her. I don't even want to do that thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great that she does it. And be
Yes.
able to clap instead of saying, well, I want to do that and this and that and this and not be great at all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. What do you really excuse me? What makes you jump out the bed in the morning? What gets you excited? What do that thing? That
Yes.
thing, like podcasting. This is
Yes.
a thing you figured it out. It's
Yes.
not me. You
Yes.
will never see me say I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say never, but it's just I don't see it for me.
Yeah.
It's not a bad or a good thing. I
Yeah.
just don't. I think it's great. Like I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of friends that podcast. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. That's so exciting. But it's
Mm-hmm.
never been something. I like being a guest. But
Mm-hmm.
it's never been something that's like, well, I'm going to compete with you and do a podcast because a lot
Yeah.
of times people are trying to be competition
Mm.
or I don't know,
Yeah.
or if everybody would just mind the business that pays you, excel in that area, clap for people that are not in that area, clap for people that are in that area. We
Yes.
can all win. I have tons of stylist friends, and I
Yeah.
mean tons, that are editorial stylists like myself.
Yes.
And we are friends. We share ideas.
Yes.
We collaborate. We're
Right.
not like, oh girl, you won that award, I'm mad.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. That is amazing.
Yes. Yes.
It would just
And
be
that's how I look at it.
if everybody would just become more self-aware and just be able to figure things out, that because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're losing. And I really think a lot of people think that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I know it has a lot to do with my upbringing, because
Mm-hmm.
I just come from a really supportive family that's like, oh, you're great, you're amazing, you can achieve
Mm-hmm.
all things, blah blah blah. I was around that my life. So when somebody's not clapping for me, I'm kind of like, why aren't you clapping?
Yeah.
Like, you're weird, because I'm gonna clap for you. Like,
Yes.
I'm clapping, I'm pulling out the red carpet, I'm telling everybody about you. You need to follow her. She's amazing.
Yes.
Like, that's not taking anything from me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If
yeah.
you think about Kia Sterling in 20 years from now, what lessons do you hope that Kia Sterling, 70-ish Kia Sterling, has learned?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I've learned to
And
be
what-
patient with myself.
Okay.
That's a big thing. Be patient with myself. Live in the moment
Mhm.
is very important. We're always like 10 steps. It's like you may win a big achievement here, but we're already over here. It's like we need to celebrate that moment, and that moment will get here when we get there, but we don't celebrate enough. So I think living in the moment, um what do they say, what's that saying, depression is caused by people who live in the past and the future. No, depression is caused by people that live in the past. Anxiety is caused by people that live in the future, because nobody lives in the present.
I've never heard that, but that's so brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I read that somewhere, and I'll never forget it. And it made sense.
Yeah.
Depression is caused by people who live in the past, and anxiety is caused by people that live in the future. You're
Yes.
fine if you live right in this moment.
Yes.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's heavy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's heavy, but when I think about it all the time. And I'm like, that is so when I start feeling like, oh my God, it's like, girl, because you already in next month, next
Take a deep
year.
breath. Yes.
What about what's going on at this very moment?
Yes.
Embrace that, celebrate that. So I think that's one of my big lessons that I would, that I've learned,
Yes.
in these past several years.
Yes. But wait, there's more. Hey guys, it's me, Auntie Hair Coach. So technically, that was the end of my interview with Kia Sterling. But because it's the final episode and I'm running a little bit late, we decided to come back and give you guys some bonus content. So stay tuned. You're going to get an additional 20 minutes of time with Kia Sterling, and that will conclude season 3. Thank you so much for spending time with me. You could be anywhere else, and you chose to spend it with me. I'm looking forward to coming back in the spring with season 4. We'll have more of your beauty industry faves, more tips, more insider information, more laughs, more tears, I'm sure, and certainly more growth. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Ta ta for now. All right, so welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and for the first time ever in Therapy Sessions history, we are doing a part 2 because
Ooh.
Kia Sterling was just so I was enamored, and I wasn't done talking, and she's blessed us to have a part 2. So once again, we've got the most highly sought after international educator and editorial stylist in the industry, Miss Kia Sterling. Welcome back.
Oh my God, I'm honored. I had no idea I was the first for part 2.
Yes.
So I feel so special. Oh my God,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Well, you are always knocking down boundaries, so why not one more? So the first question I have for you is I recently saw that the state of New York just put in place a new law that requires all students to learn textured hair before they get licensed. Did you see this?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I see your face. What are your thoughts?
It's like 1,000 years overdue.
Hmm.
But yeah, better late than never.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
It just needs to apply to all 50 states.
Facts.
I just can't believe it's 2020, almost four. This is December. We're almost in 24, and we're still having this conversation. It's like mind boggling to me that we're still having this conversation about textured hair and why students are graduating from cosmetology school and don't understand all hair textures.
It seems
You
so
know, it's
simple,
you know,
right?
it's like any other field. It's like law, dentistry, doctors. I'm sure they don't say, well, unless you specialize in one thing, but I'm sure what they call a general practitioner to become a doctor.
Hmm.
You kind of have to have an overall insight on everything, and then you move into your specialty.
Yes. And I
So
think
I'm
even with law and with the medical field, both, you have to study everything first. And
right.
then if you choose to specialize, then you take that specialized education.
Right. So that's why I'm like, I'm excited that the law was
Hmm.
passed, but I'm just kind of feeling like, it's 2023. Every state, every college student should have access to that information. So
Absolutely.
we are late.
Absolutely. And I'm just curious, especially with or including the work that you do with textured versus race. I was thinking about how you spoke in our last interview about how a lot of times when you're on sets or in different aspects of all of the things that you've done in this industry, that you felt sometimes that they kind of want their sites to be all white or more white, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I'm curious as I watch this because I'm also excited about it, but I have reservations because my concern is if everyone knows how to do textured hair, then why would they need us on set anymore? You have any thoughts or feelings about that?
You, you know what? That is so interesting you said that because last year in 2022, when we had the Texture versus Rate Summit, we were telling all the stylists, all our stylist friends about it, come out, check it out. And I think it was in November of 22. And in September of 22, I was in New York during Fashion Week. And a lot of my teammates are white. And a lot of my teammates don't know how to do textured hair. So I'm friends with a few of them, and I invited them to come to the summit. I'm like, oh my God, you guys would love it. It's amazing. You'll learn a lot. And one of my friends, one of my white friends from San Francisco, she's a colorist, she said that to me. And she said, I understand what you guys are doing, but I kind of feel like if I learn that texture and master it, I'm taking jobs away from you. And I never thought of that. It's just never crossed my mind that now they're competing with us for jobs. So, I mean, it's something to think about. However, I feel like there's enough room for everyone to make money in this industry. And it saddens me when I work on set or when I work backstage at Fashion Week and we have a model that walks in that has textured hair. They don't have enough black stylists either on set or behind the scenes at Fashion Week to even cover the black models that are coming in that need service from anybody who can do it, even makeup artists, so that's an issue. And that's why I feel like, you know, I've been backstage where, let's say it was 30 or 40 on my team, and two of us were black, and the other were non black. And they had three black models. Let's just say. Of course, we had to do the black models. But there were times where somehow the black model got into a white stylist chair, and the stylist did not know what to do. didn't know how to prep the hair properly. It was more of an attack on the curls. And I'm watching from across the room and I'm like, what is happening? And then my lead may have come over to me and said, hey, do you mind helping out? And I'm like, hey, I can help you out. But they act like they don't want me to help them because they don't want to be seen as not knowing. And it's a teachable moment. I've had teachable moments backstage at Fashion Week where it was something, oh, I don't know how to do that, or I'm not doing that. I need a better technique that'll help me get through this process easier. And we just have to be open to new information and knowledge, because I don't care how many years you've been in the industry, there is something you do not know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There's always something new to learn. Or it may be just an easier way of doing it. I love the aha moments when I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought about doing it that way. That's so much simpler, you know?
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, that's something to think about. And I never thought about it until
Mhm.
last year. And I shared it with Kia, who's the founder of Texture versus Race. And we were all like, wow, I never thought about that. But some of them do think about that, you know,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it is hard enough as a Black artist to get hired. You know, it's a little challenging.
Mhm.
You know, it can be challenging. So
Yeah. Yeah.
those doors aren't as easy to go through as people. Well, I'm sure Black people know those doors aren't as easy to go through. Um, just like any other field. You know, once you get your foot in the door, though, it's up to us to kind of start bringing our friends in. You know,
Mhm. Reach back.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I agree with you. Like in 2024, right? Essentially, the fact that it's even a conversation
Yeah.
that you would need to know how to do all hair to graduate is like
Yeah.
insanity.
Yeah.
Um, and then, the fact that you would even have to have a thought that, wow, I wonder what this means for jobs for Black
Yeah.
people,
And the interesting thing, I was telling my friend who said that to me, what's interesting to me, I told her, I said, I don't know if you ever saw that image of what the world would look like in like 20 or 30 years. I saw
where
this
everybody's
on
mixed.
Google, yeah,
Mhm.
like years, like 10 years ago. And it was
Mhm.
projecting what the world would look like in like 30 years. And the world looked very
Mhm.
mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
I still work in the salon. I have a lot of Black women clients that are married to Black men. I'm sorry, that are married to white men and
Mhm.
have biracial children.
Mhm.
So, what I was trying to say to her was, do you notice that your client base is starting to change, especially like your younger clients, like you're 20 in what is that? Is that Gen Z? I guess it's Gen
Mhm.
Z.
Mhm.
That age group, hair is looking different. The point I'm trying to make is that you kind of can't avoid it. You can't avoid, because hair is not a color. So it's not, I think I spoke about this in part one
Yeah.
about my first job as an assistant. And I had no idea that Jewish women had tightly coiled hair and
Yes.
they were getting relaxers. This was back in the 90s. And I was like dumbfounded because, I was really young and hadn't experienced
Mhm.
anything in hair yet. But I was like wowed by the fact that this woman's hair is kinky like mine.
Mhm.
And I shared that with her and she's like, yeah, I know, but the world is looking different. The textures are changing. We have um more people. I don't even know what is the percentage. I looked it up one time, but I forgot. But it's a large percentage of people that have curly hair now.
Mhm.
So, we need to be able to service that client,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter whether they're Black or white, they can still have tightly coiled
Mhm.
afro texture,
Mhm.
what they like to call 4C. I hate that, but
Mhm. Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody has 4C hair. Quote, everybody
Qu-
sits in your chair. My hair is
Child.
4C.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like, baby, your hair is just thirsty. It's just dry.
Dehydrated.
It's just
Yes.
dry, girl.
Yes.
You don't
It
have
is not.
4C hair.
It is
And then when
not
I
the same.
explain it to him, when I explain it to them and educate them, they're like, "Oh my God, I never knew." I'm like, "Yeah, but because your hair is so dehydrated,
Mm-hmm.
you think it's 4C and it's not.
Mhm.
You're nowhere near 4C."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Crazy. Okay, so switching gears entirely, I was thinking about because you're born and raised in New York City, right?
Philly.
Oh, Philly. Why do
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
from
know why
Philly.
I thought New York City. Okay, but you're right up the road.
Yeah,
Right up the
we're
road.
close. We're neighbors.
Yes.
I work in
Um,
New York a lot. Maybe that's what
okay.
confused you. Mhm.
You know what? I think it was New York Fashion Week. Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah,
had me. Yeah, I could see that. But
yes.
still, Philly is right up the road. And I was just
Hmm.
thinking this has nothing to do with hair, really. Um, that 50 it's this year was the 50 years of hip hop. Are you a hip hop fan?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes,
Because your
I
look
am
is
a
very
hip
hip
hop.
hop.
I
Yes.
love hip hop. Yes.
Yes. Share share some of your favorite memories, especially because Philly is so hip hop.
Yeah.
Um, talk about some of your favorite memories concerning hip hop and growing up where you grew up.
Oh my God. It's so funny that you asked that question because I belong to this group on what is it, Facebook, and they
Mhm.
posted what was your first concert. It's a group, it's a Gen X group
Okay.
because I'm Gen X. So it's
Me
a
too.
Gen X group.
Uh-huh.
And hey girl, Gen X. But it was such a cool, it's such a cool group. I love it. And one of the questions was, what was your first concert?
Mhm.
And my first official concert was Michael Jackson, the Victory Tour. Michael Jackson, his brothers, my family, my whole family went. It was in like
I'm jealous.
1985 or something.
I'm so
And
jealous.
that was my first concert. But my first official hip hop concert was the Raised in Hell tour, Run
Yes.
DMC. And I
Yes.
think it was either 86 or 87.
Uh-huh.
And that was my first official concert. And I was so excited. And I went without my parents. I went with my friends. So that was
Okay.
like a huge deal because my mom's
Yes.
like, "Oh my God, I don't think you should go by yourself." And I'm like, "But it's five of my friends."
Yes.
So they let me go. We had a ball. But yeah, I like I'm an old school hip hop, but I'm not against the new hip hop. However, I don't like those girls. And I'm not even gonna talk about them, but you know who I'm talking about. I can't. The new it's a few new rapper girls who just our ancestors are clutching their pearls. Like, are you serious?
Ah!
It's too much. It's too much. But yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up definitely loving hip hop. It was my I remember in school, um, we would come to school and it was so crazy because hip hop was so new then. And we
Yes.
would come to school reciting like Run DMC and Marley Marr and Dougie Fresh and
Yes.
all it was LL Cool J, all those hip
Yes.
hop artists. So yeah, hip hop is like big to me.
Yes. What do you
Yeah.
remember what your first song that you memorized was?
Rappers Delight.
Yes.
To the hip, the hop, the hip, the
It's
hip,
a long
that one.
ass song
That was
too.
my first. Yeah, I memorized that. That song is
Yeah,
like 9 minutes long.
it's so long.
Yeah, it's so long. It's so long. But that song is like that was like the first song that went I guess viral back then.
Yeah,
Because that wasn't the first hip hop song, but that was the first song that like my mom liked.
like popular. Yes.
Yeah, my
Yes.
mom actually used to love Curtis Blow. These are the
Ma-
breaks. That was
yes.
her favorite song.
Yes. Yes. I remember my dad playing Curtis Blow when I was a kid. Like that was my first. I'm pretty sure um yeah, I'm pretty sure Curtis Blow was like the first artist that I was exposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My mom loved that song. I used to be like, it was safe. Well, hip hop was safe back then because there weren't any curse words. It was all about have a party, dancing, having
Yeah.
fun. That's really what it was about.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
NWA came out in the early 90s. And that's when I feel like that's when it changed.
No,
That's
for
when it got
sure.
real crazy.
For sure. And I was at that point, I was leaving middle school, heading into high school, and I was a military kid. I grew up on
Oh,
Air Force bases. So I don't know
wow.
nothing about I know about the hood in that like both of my fathers, that's like where their roots are from. And so when we go and visit that side of my family, but
Yeah.
growing up, I grew up on Air Force bases, so I don't really know about the hood. And I would be
Oh.
in my bedroom playing "Fuck the Police" real low because I didn't want my. But I resonated with every word. I didn't know nothing about it, but for some reason,
It resonated. That is
it
too
resonated.
funny. That's
Yes.
so cute.
Um. Okay. What about, so we are rounding the corner on the end of 2024 or 2023, like you mentioned, and by the time our audience listens to this, it will literally be New Year's Eve. And we'll be
Hmm.
going into the new year. I know you're really close with your family. Talk a bit about your family traditions for the holidays and what does this time of year look like for you?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. So I'll start with Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving used to be my grandmother's dinner.
Mhm,
My mom's mom. It was her dinner. She prepared it. The dinner is usually the host is my aunt, who
mhm,
is my mom's sister. She has the biggest house, so that's why I was always at her house.
mhm.
And it's usually around 100 people. It can
Wow.
be more, it can be less. But over the years, our Thanksgiving is humongous. And my grandmom, who passed away in 97, she would prepare all the food and do the whole dinner herself. This was her dinner for her
Mhm,
family. And after she passed away, everybody's like, okay, who's going to cook the dinner? So it took my aunt, my mom, and a bunch of my mom's cousins. So about 8 people took over cooking that meal for the entire family. But we
wow.
had such a big family. And yeah, like we had Thanksgiving, what was it, 2 weeks ago? It was amazing. Family flies in from all over. Family I don't get to see, during the year, or I only get to see once or twice during the year. So it's the entire week. It's like a big deal. So yeah. And our Christmas is a lot smaller because everybody doesn't fly in. My aunt usually does like a Christmas breakfast, and then somebody will do dinner. So it's not always dinner at the same house, but somebody will do dinner, and it's usually small, maybe like 15 people,
Okay.
which is big to some people. But
Yeah.
my aunt, literally, we make jokes. It's like a running joke in our family. My aunt could throw a party for 150 people in 12 hours. Like it's nothing to her. Like it's
Okay.
crazy. But she hosts parties all the time at her house. So she's like a professional.
Hostess.
Yeah, she's like a professional at it. So
Yes.
when I need tips, I always ask her.
Yes. Now, are you
Hmm.
past the point of wanting to get out for New Year's or do you get out and about on New Year's?
I am in the house on New Year's on
Okay.
purpose.
Same.
I can't do it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. Like how you think about when you were young. And I remember just if I was in the house on a Friday or a Saturday night, it was something crazy going on.
Yeah.
Like from age 20, no, even before that, like 18 probably, I never was in a house a Friday night, a Saturday night, a Sunday night, or New Year's Eve. It was unheard of. It was
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Now I'm like, I can't wait to be in the house.
For
It's
real.
like I'm not going anywhere. Because we used to go to like a couple of friends, we would go hang out and have dinner.
Mhm.
Now I'm just happier at home.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if it's a work day, I don't know if New Year's Eve falls on a work day this year. I don't think it does. But
Falls on Sunday this year.
I'll get some good food and go home and eat. And I will go to my parents' house most of the time and eat and hang out, watch movies, just
Yeah.
chill. And the
Yeah.
sad part is most of the time I'm asleep by midnight.
Yes. No, I definitely am sleep by midnight. And me and
Yeah,
my
like I
husband laugh all the time because we have somehow turned into our parents, like the old
Yes.
version of our parents.
I used to think my parents were crazy. Like, why are you sleep at midnight?
Yeah,
Like, why are you not up? Like, like,
because
why are
I'm
you not?
tired.
And now I am that person. I'm
Yes,
sleep 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, oh my
yes.
God, I can't. It's been times where I even went to New York on New Year's Eve when I was young to
To
go
Times
watch the ball
Square?
drop. Huh?
To Times Square?
Yeah, like this was when I was really young. I would never
Okay,
do that now, but
yeah,
I hate Times Square in general.
it's a lot.
That is so touristy. It's just too touristy. And I'm in New York all the time. I'm past the tourists. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I've been to watch the ball drop. That was fun. It's always fun when you're 22 years old. Stuff
Sure.
like that's not fun to me now. But
Yeah,
freezing,
yeah,
being out with the people. But I do like the people, and I've gone to New York to hang out, go to parties, have dinner. But now I just love being close to home, eating a good meal, watching a good movie,
yes,
talking with my friends, my family. Like that's what I want to do. I have
yes,
no interest in being outside at all.
yes,
People in Philly drive so crazy. Everybody's drinking.
yes. They
I'm
call
like,
it
I'm going.
amateur night. I've heard
Yeah,
people
I'm
call it
like,
amateur night.
yes. I'm like, I am going home. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. You're gonna have to drive into my house to
Yes.
get me because I'm gonna be in the
Yes. I'm gonna
house.
have my PJs on.
Yes. Okay, so something that I forgot to ask the last time we talked, I'm switching back to hair briefly.
Okay.
You work with an agent,
I do now, yeah.
an
I
agency?
had an agent. I got signed to an agency in 2014. I think it was 2014. And having an agent, that's an amazing experience. Especially if you're somebody, nobody likes to talk about money. Nobody.
Mm,
It's just like not a fun topic. Um, and they negotiate your money. So that's always a good thing. Um, and they book, they get you gigs too. So, but I still get a lot of gigs on my own, like on my own, like referrals and things like that. But I have an agent now. My agent is Kia Neal.
oh,
Kia,
what?
yeah, she has an
I didn't know she
agency.
was an agent.
Yeah, she has an agency. So
I
yeah,
did
she's
not
my
know that.
agent now.
Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and is she the first agency that you've worked with, or have you
No,
worked
second. I
second?
had an agent. My first agent was in 2014.
Okay.
Um, I had her for a long time. She was my first agent, and she was looking for hairstylists to sign to her agency, and I was recommended. Two people actually recommended me, so it's a lot of my opportunities, which I'm so 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 grateful for, come through
Mm-hmm.
recommendations, come from referrals,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I tell people all the time it's so important to network and
Mm-hmm.
let people know what you do and what you're about and things like that, because referrals is better than social media.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm old school. I come from an era where we didn't even have social media, so everything
Yes.
was word of mouth. So
Yes.
nowadays, um, well, going back to the agent, so I got signed in 2014, and then I didn't have an agent for, I don't know, I'm so bad with time. And then Kid's been my agent since this year, 24, like
What's
earlier
the
this
name of
year.
the agency?
It's oh God, what's the name of it?
It's okay.
Because it's so new. It's so
Yes,
new. I can't remember.
it's
It's
okay.
escaping
Yeah,
me right now.
yeah,
But and she's an amazing, amazing agent, by the way.
yes. I
Yeah,
love
she's
me some
phenomenal.
her. I love me some her.
Kia is just a
She's a
big hug.
treasure.
She is a big old hug. Like she's
Yes,
so loving, so much life.
yeah,
She's a gift.
yes,
If I
truly.
summed it up in one word, it would be a gift.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
what
I
she is.
adore her.
Yes.
And she's one of the
She's
very
phenomenal.
first people that I ever interviewed for my podcast.
Really?
Yeah. She had
Oh,
no idea who I was, but I asked her and she said yes. Yep.
that's her. Yep,
Yep. Yep. I
that's
adore
her.
her. I
Yeah, she's
adore her.
phenomenal.
Okay. So I think I've hit most everything that I actually wanted to hit. How can the audience follow your movement?
Oh, my movement. I love
Your
that. I love that. That's new. People
yeah.
don't usually say your movement.
Yes.
All my social media handles are at Kia Sterling Hair. My Instagram, my uh was Twitter, now it's X.
Ah, the
TikTok.
app formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, the app formerly known as Twitter, X. I'm a Kia Sterling Hair on all of the platforms. So I tried to make it easy for people to find me and not have, a different name over here, a different name over
Yes.
here.
Yes.
And then my website is kiasterling.com.
Okay.
And I do have a boot camp coming out in 2024, an
Okay.
editorial hair boot camp. I don't
Okay.
have the date yet, but it's
Okay.
coming soon.
All right. So
Stay
go to the
tuned.
website and they can like sign up, on your website. Can they like sign up for
Yes.
like an email newsletter or something to
Yes,
be notified?
absolutely. KiaSterling.com. Yep,
Yes. Love
it's
that.
coming.
Love it.
Long overdue.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kia. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
I'm just
Tasha.
so excited to follow your career and see all the cool things you're doing and all the amazing things you're doing with hair. And when I get this wire, I took note at when you were on stage at the Textured Hair Elevated Summit about this wire, and I have a list of things that I need to go get from like Hobby Lobby or Michaels or something, and that's one of them. So when I finally get it in some hair, I will absolutely tag you so you can see
Oh my
what I
God, and
created
I'll
with
share it. I'm so excited.
it.
I love teaching. I love education. And I think what I love the most are aha moments that people
Yes,
have,
yes,
because sometimes when I take a class, you get confirmation in the class, like, okay,
yes,
this is what I've been doing. I've been doing this right. I'm doing this right. But then sometimes it's that moment, oh my God, that's all
yeah,
that was.
yes. And it
And
seems
I
so
love it.
complicated.
Yeah,
Yes,
we make
absolutely,
everything complicated.
absolutely, especially the Virgos. We're not gonna
Because
do
we
nothing else.
overthink everything.
We're gonna overthink.
We got to
Thank
think of
you.
39,000 ways. Yes.
I
Yes. Us
appreciate you.
Virgos.
Sis. I love you. I'll talk
I
to you
love you
soon.
too. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. If you're a beauty pro with a story to tell, or you have a stylist you'd like to hear from, you can DM me via IG at Auntie Hair Coach or use the contact me form on tasha-davis.com. Or if you're feeling really spicy, send an audio message in Spotify. Whether you loved it or hated it, please leave a rating, like, and or follow because it does something fancy with the algorithm. I'm Auntie Hair Coach. Ta-ta for now.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you could make it.